We're pleased to welcome NFL Network analyst, longtime NFL defensive back, and Super Bowl champion Will Blackmon to the show. So, Will, you are from Providence. Are you rooting for the Red Sox right now? How do you feel about them being up 2-0?
No, it's cool, and I love it because the fact that I'm in California too, so everyone just gives me the side eye when I walk around with my Red Sox hat. So
you can wear it proudly right now.
I do. Oh yeah, I do wear it proudly. No question about it.
It's a pretty crazy week in the NFL. There's been some big names traded, some first-round picks, some guys who are top of their position on their teams as organizations now kind of either plan for the future or try to stock for a run at the playoffs. And the big one, of course, is Amari Cooper and the Dallas Cowboys giving up a first-round pick for him. Let's look from the Raiders' perspective first. What happens inside a locker room when a guy like that is maybe not blindsided, that might be too strong a word, but all of a sudden he's there and then he's gone and you guys are looking around going, what?
I mean, well, one, I have not been, as you know what, I have been part of something pretty crazy. I was there in Green Bay with the whole Favre and Aaron Rodgers deal. Wow. That just made it uncomfortable, but at least with us, we knew what direction the organization was going to. Because we were like, dude, we just came off of we almost went to the Super Bowl. We lost to the Giants with Favre. But at least we knew as a whole organization what direction we're going to. It's interesting, Oakland. Right now, yeah, they're collecting picks, but who says you're gonna draft another Khalil Mack? Or another Amari Cooper? And obviously, there's words going around about Derek Carr. So, they have a plan. Obviously, in that world, you got to take risk, but I don't know. It's like first he signs a bunch of 35-year-olds, and then now he's releasing everybody. He's releasing all the young guys. It's crazy.
There are obviously people who are coming out and criticizing Carr, saying he's crying, calling him a bad leader, but you've got guys inside the locker room who are standing up for him. How do you circle the wagons when that's happening, when it feels like everybody from the outside is against you?
Well, once again, it depends on what's going on in the nucleus, who are the true leaders in that building? And I don't know. I hate when guys say anonymous. Just say what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love. When I think the tight end was it Lee Smith who spoke up about the whole thing about Carr being a captain or a leader. He looked scary. He looked like he was not messing around. he meant serious business and was truly protecting his team. Because right now you just hear. It's kind of the press that you didn't expect, press from the coach, press from their management, press from the front office. That's the things that you're not used to.
In the case of the Raiders, they've got one win. In the case of your former team, the Giants, they've got one win. And what we're hearing from the coaches is, hey, we're not tanking. This is not preparing for the future. We're still going to try to win. But internally, how does it feel?
Well, for the Raiders, you can say you're not tanking. You're tossing your best players and you're getting a bunch of first-round picks. Maybe for more moves they're trying to make. Maybe he's trying to reorganize the entire team. But for the Giants, it's really interesting because that's a talented team on paper. You're like, man, they have. On offense, you got Odell and Shepard and Saquon, and we can still say Eli, even though people are not hype with him and Ingram. And you're like, man, they have all the talent right now to do some special things, and defense too. That they have a really good defense as well on paper. So I don't know. Once again, maybe it's the whole leadership thing, the nucleus. It's crazy. It totally caught me off guard.
So then when you're talking about nucleus and leadership and captains, as someone who's been a veteran in a locker room, how do you keep guys together? What do you do to make sure that the team doesn't fall apart?
Well, yeah, that's the word right now is the nucleus, what have you. But when I was in Jacksonville in 2013, we actually went 0-8 our first 8 games. And we didn't have the greatest roster on paper, but man, just 0-8, it was taxing because it was like, dude, we were getting mopped or we were so close. But what's cool is at the time, Coach Gus Bradley was our head coach, and he came to work every single day with the same energy, approached every day. Even when we went 0-5, he's like, you know what? That's part of the journey. It's part of the process. I'm not going to change. No one needs to change. We just have to keep pushing and believing what we're doing. just keep believing, and then all of a sudden we played Tennessee and the Titans in Tennessee, and we beat them. Just going to work like any other day. We didn't do anything special, and it was important to have the leader start from the top and Coach Gus Bradley, and then trickle down to, I think earlier in the time was Paul Posluszny from Penn State. So.
That's awesome. That is the definition of leadership. Will Blackmon's a longtime NFL defensive back. He was a Super Bowl champ with the Giants, now with NFL Network and with us here after hours on CBS Sports Radio. So you mentioned the Jaguars. There was, reporters who could hear a bunch of screaming and yelling and guys venting and being frustrated in the locker room after their last loss. And the defense specifically, full of angst. The offense right now is the major issue. The defense is still really good, but it's asking a lot of them when the offense is not scoring points. Have you ever been in a situation like that where it's lopsided and the defense is having to carry so much of the weight?
Yeah, when I was in Jacksonville. Oddly enough, that's how we felt. We had, I think when I got there, Blaine was the starter, and then we had Chad, and then we got Blake. And it was, 3 and out. You had to get right back on the field, and at times, then eventually, your defense is so tired or your defense is frustrated, and some people lose their heads, some people aren't focused, and then next thing you know, it's like 33-3.
Oh gosh!
So no, seriously, that's what it's like. So yeah, and I've been there, man. But the one thing I do like about the fact that they were arguing in the locker room is that just means that they care. Is anything a friendship, relationship? If there's no kind of communication or there are no disagreements, then you guys don't care. I remember when my wife and I were first together, we always laugh like, man, we argue so damn much. like we argue about anything, but that's because we cared and we were trying to understand each other and like figure things out. Now I'm at the point where it'd be little things. It'd be like, okay, I left my shoe by the front door, and that bothered her. But I'm like, but they're by the front door, So we beef about that. So, but now we've been married 10 years. If I see her car pull up and I'm like checking, make sure my shoes are not at the front door, and move them because it's like, why? If I know she doesn't like it, I found out because we had an argument. So never mind my story. Anyhow,
no, it's perfect. Great analogy.
There you go. I bring football and marriage all the time. There's so many similarities to me. Yeah, I'm sure all that yelling was on defense, too. I mean, they got personalities everywhere on defense.
They do, but you're right. There's still passion there. And you mentioned their game in London coming up to start out week number 8. I cannot believe we're on week number 8. While we're talking about defense, so there's been a lot of attention first half of the season on this new emphasis in protecting quarterbacks, and it's been a gradual progression. It's not like this is something brand new in 2018, but we've seen more defensive players and even officials talking about it. I talked with Gene Steratore about how difficult it is to apply some of these rules. So if you were still, you're not retired that long. If you were still in the league, how would you approach tackling a quarterback?
Well, here's what's crazy is I believe, now that you mentioned, I think it started back when, who was it? Bernard Parlett, he hit Tom Brady in the knee and tore his ACL. Remember that?
Right.
And then obviously Brady missed the season and then came back and had a knee brace, and there was a new rule saying you cannot hit the quarterback below the knees. And then Anthony Barr lands on Aaron Rodgers and then breaks his collarbone, right? Huh. Next thing you know, there's another rule saying you cannot lay on the quarterbacks. So basically, if you touch another golden boy, Drew Brees, if you touch Drew Brees, there's going to be a new rule in there. But I believe, guys are trying to adjust right now. They're like, you know what, we're just going to take, I think Aaron Donald, he snatched Kirk Cousins one time and just threw him. And there's no rule saying you can't throw a quarterback. So
just pick him up and toss him like a rag doll. There you go.
Literally, I think, Aaron Donald took Kirk Cousins and just flung him. and there's no rule saying you can't do that. Obviously, don't grab the collar or you get a horse collar, I'm telling you. But, yeah, just throw him down. Well, I think they just maybe need to have an early whistle because you have some guys like Ben Roethlisberger who totally milks the system because he knows he's massive. He can't be taken down. However, when they play Tampa, they barely – I think somebody swatted his hand by his head and he dropped to the floor. He didn't even get hit. and the ref threw a flag for, saying, oh, roughing the passer when Ben totally soccer style flopped. Dude, if you're going to hit the quarterback, knock him out, okay? Just
Can I quote you on that?
Yeah, you can. Listen, if they're going to take $20,000 from your pocket for laying on a quarterback, then you might as well make it worth it.
You might as well get your money's worth.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money for laying on. Dude, come on, man.
Yeah, especially when it used to be normal football, and now all of a sudden it's not allowed.
Marino and Favre and Steve Young and Elway are like, dude, what is going on here? Favre would still be playing if those rules were in play.
That's true. Rodgers is one of those guys that the NFL wants to protect, though he's tough. I mean, he's out there whether he's injured or whether he's not. And I love to talk to guys who played with him or across from him to kind of figure out, what do you do when you have to face a guy like an Aaron Rodgers? How the heck do you try to contain him with everything that he can do?
No, Aaron Rodgers, he is very, very tough. Obviously physically, but most importantly, he's tough mentally, to the point where he can handle any kind of adversity. But with Aaron, I believe he's still the most feared quarterback because, I mean, it's street football. He can place the ball where I know Drew Brees is probably the most. I think he is the most accurate quarterback of all time, but on the run, rolling out to his left, rolling out to his right, Aaron Rodgers can play. He can play the football anywhere. At one point, he was the leading. He led the league in rushing for quarterbacks at one point, so he can run. It's funny because he's a sneaky, like, really good athlete. People look at him, they see his discount double check, they see his. Sometimes he gets the mustache in November. Sometimes, like, he's real funny and silly and has a interesting personality, but he is really athletic. So that's what makes it challenging, too. He'll buy time for himself. He'll move around the pocket. If you play man-to-man, he'll run for 8 yards or a first down. If you play zone, he's going to find the soft zone. Like, he does that all the time. So that's why guys really are trying to make a point to, like, you need to hit this guy, attack him, and, do whatever you can. Do what the Bears did with Urlacher. I think they played some type of cover too.
Oh, gosh. I had my first chance to go to a game at Lambeau during the preseason. It was the first game he was back. And as he comes out, so I'm on the field. As he comes out of the tunnel, that place went nuts. There was 80,000 people there for a preseason game, which I'm sure you're used to having played at Lambeau. It was insane.
Oh, yeah. They don't mess with it. There's no difference. Actually, there's a place there called Titletown Brewery. It probably, hands down, probably is the best root beer you've ever had in your entire life.
People are going to love to hear this. We have a big station in Green Bay, so they're going to love it.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Yes, I'm telling you. And then I still have a place downtown. Does anybody need a 1-bedroom at the on the water downtown? It's a riverfront loft. I still own it. I might be putting up for sale.
Will, you're getting how this media thing works. I like it. Will Blackmon with us here.
I'm just being myself.
I know you are. You're awesome. After Hours on CBS Sports Radio. So before I let you go, we talked about the Jaguars defense. Obviously really good and still really passionate. What a couple of other defenses have impressed you to this point in the season?
Surprisingly, the Browns. Just how instinctive they are. Right now, they're leading in the turnover ratio, I believe, and also they're leading the league in picks. I mean, they turn around, they just find a way to get the ball out. It's really cool that everyone in the world was like, John Dorsey, what are you doing? Why didn't you get Bradley Chubb? And they end up getting Denzel Ward, and he's proven to be right. He's been exceptional. I'm shocked about Minnesota. I thought they truly would be one of, if not the most dominant defense in the NFL. That they shocked me in that regard. Jacksonville is as advertised as they were on paper. I think they're still the number one passing defense.
Yeah.
As expected, but yeah, a lot of these defenses have battled some injuries, so that's been interesting, but. Chicago finished, I think, top 10 last year in total yards given up, and then they're top 5 right now, which is, once again, no one really knows that.
Is there anything you miss about playing? You've been out a couple of years. Anything you miss?
No, you know what? Here's the thing. I love, and I did try to play this year, and I love playing. Like, physically, I'm capable. Like, I feel awesome. I can go out there. If somebody needs something, I can play right now.
Nice.
But I think mentally I was just over, you know, just the politics,
Mm.
because it ended up not being so much, oh, he's not talented, or guys aren't so concerned about like playing. They're like, they want who they want. Period.
Hmm.
You know, it's like someone can go somewhere and apply and be qualified or be overqualified for the job, and it still doesn't matter. You know, so I just got so tired of fighting everybody. I worked out for 4 teams, and they're like, oh, you know what, we're going to go young. And then the young guys are messing up. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, yeah, I think we need veterans. And yeah, that's the whole point, you know. So I just got real exhausted of just the politics. You know, I did it for 12 years, and I was like, you know what, I'm ready to be home, be with my wife, be with our 2 kids. And then I did have opportunities outside of football, so that made it easier.
Well, you are a good talker, so that helps. I like it. You can find Will on Twitter at Will Blackmon. Easy enough. NFL Network analyst after 12 years in the NFL. It's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, anytime, whenever. I'm here, so you need me, hit me up.